what can you bear living without most for now? So do, try, work, fail. And so because I always take responsibility, I don't care about external circumstances. Nothing limits you more than the way you see yourself. If the blame is yours, you could change what you do. I think the key to improving yourself is learning and applying what you learn. The best way to do that is through simple ideas full of meaning. One sentence which is enough for you to know all that it entails. The next difficulty is keeping this idea in mind, which is why I'm working on an app that helps you remember those ideas in a way that's never been seen before. So if you want to see a presentation of the beginning of this app, then check it out right here. Now, I want to present to you 5 life lessons that I never want to forget. You're responsible for everything that happens in your life. I first learned about this years ago from a self-improvement video, and I recently read about it in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, which is a great book, by the way. This idea simply means that whatever event happens in your life, whether it's actually your fault or not, always think that you are responsible. Because if you don't, then you can't do anything about it. Responsibility is power. The one that is responsible is the one that has control. So you should reframe taking responsibility as taking power, taking control for everything that happens in your life. Now let's look at some examples. The first level would be to take responsibility for where your life is at. So if you don't look as good as you'd like, you're not as smart or as rich as you'd like, accept that you're responsible for that it is your fault. Do not blame it on anything external. And that way, you'll have the power to work on it and change it. So if you're fat and say, I'm fat because my family always brings fast foods and they're all fat, then you have zero control. You can't do anything to change it because it all depends on your family, which is external to you. You can't control your family's behavior. But if you say, I'm fat because I choose the comfort of eating what my family eats and what I'm used to eating, then you have so much power. You could say, but now I won't. I'll make my own healthy food. That's your choice. And so you have control over it, right? If it depends on you, if the blame is yours, you could change what you do and you could change your outcomes. But if the blame is on your family, then, well, you can't change your family, can you? So you're just blocked. That's the problem. Look, I don't deny that the family definitely had a role to play with you being fat, but it doesn't matter here. This mindset is not about being accurate. It's about giving you power, control over your life. Life is just what we perceive it to be, so we might as well choose a perception that gives us more power. The second level of this mindset is when circumstances are actually out of your control. So for example, I started playing volleyball this year, and I love it. But volleyball has an undeniable fact. Tall guys have an unfair advantage, and I'm 5'8". So I could say I'll never be a pro volleyball player because I'm not tall enough. That gives responsibility to an outside circumstance. And then I just can't do anything about it. Any effort that I do towards my volleyball training will be limited by this belief that I can never be a pro, right? And I can be 100% sure that I'll never be a pro because I don't believe I can. We'll see this later in the video, but if you don't believe that you can achieve something, you'll never achieve it. But if I say I could be a pro volleyball player if I worked extremely hard on my jump so that I could jump higher than the tall guys, or if I worked very hard on my receiving or my technique overall, you see, suddenly this belief allows me to defy the odds, work hard, train hard, and potentially achieve a miracle. And even if I don't, I'd have made so much progress on my volleyball skill that it was useful, right? The other alternative would be to just cry that I can't be a pro and do nothing, right? Now in my case, I don't want to be a pro, but even then, I won't say that it's because I'm short. I would rather say I'll never be a pro volleyball player because I don't want to dedicate my life to volleyball training. Some people may say to cope, but I think it helps with taking the habit of taking responsibility for everything. And so, because I always take responsibility, I don't care about external circumstances, and I believe that I can do anything because it all depends on me. All the power becomes mine. Do you see how useful this mindset is? I hope you do. And at the very least, I hope you try using it. This lesson is crucial for anyone that wants to improve themselves. You can't improve if you don't accept that it is in your power, that you are in control. So if you want to improve, start taking responsibility. FOMO is a good thing. This one is an idea I came up with last year. I was working very hard on my studies and wanted to be the first of my class of 600 students. Many times I had to skip on events, parties, hanging out with friends, gym sessions, and even though I was able to do it and work hard, I often felt like shit. That was because of FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. The fear that I would miss on some exceptional events. So I would be there, working hard, and I had a few tears coming up thinking, what if that would have been the best night of my life? And this annoyed me so much because I knew that staying working was the right call, and I still could not help but feel like shit. Then I listened to a podcast with Chris Williamson and Alex Amodzi about the cost of being exceptional. They're basically saying that a huge amount of people want to be exceptional, but at the same time want to fit in into a group of people, have a tribe of people that they can relate to and feel similar to, right? And I realized I was exactly like that. And they also said that being exceptional is hard because you will have those moments where you miss out on stuff that most people would do that would be fun and good, and you have to sacrifice those things to achieve to do the hard thing that most people won't do, right? And so that's when I started to think like, oh, but then that means that FOMO is actually a good thing, because it's like a proof that I am exceptional because I'm not doing what most people would do. You see, I found that when I chose the basic choice, the choice that most people would choose, so for example, when I went out with friends instead of going to the gym, or when I went to a party instead of staying at home working, I never felt FOMO being like, oh, I could have missed a great gym session, or I could have missed some great work session. I never had that, and that was because I did the basic choice, the comfortable choice, right? So I started thinking that FOMO is like an indicator that I'm doing the right thing. So when I felt that my choice was right and I had a bit of FOMO, that became like the perfect proof that I'm doing the right thing. And I think it's a great way to reframe it because it makes FOMO feel good. And you don't have to feel shitty about doing the right choice for your goals. It's already hard enough to choose work over fun. And so if you're able to just remove that fear that would add itself on top of the hard choice, it just makes it much easier. There's another idea that goes very well with this one and that can even destroy FOMO. That is, choose your regrets. This one comes from the same podcast, and it might be the most important idea I have ever learned. In life, we must choose our regrets. Whenever you have to make a choice of what to do, say for example, you have to choose between going to the gym and working, you'll always regret not doing the other. Always. You can't avoid it. Do you prefer to regret not doing the work or not going to the gym? Choose. Ask yourself, try to see the bigger picture. Which problem would you rather have? Would you rather not have enough time to do all the work you want to do, or not have the best physique, or be in the best shape that you can be in? When making that choice, something that helps is to keep in mind that now is not forever. The choice you make now doesn't have to be the same priority you chose for the rest of your life. You could have a few months of focusing on the gym, improving physique and eating better, and once you're happy with the way you look, you could focus more on money, grades, or whatever it is you want to focus on. It is all about your choice, and I always found it hard to choose the thing that I wanted the most because I want so many things in life. And I found that this way of thinking about it is so much easier. So rather than asking, what do you want most, which is a question hard to answer, I mean, my answer to it is everything. I can't choose, right? But if you ask yourself, what can you bear living without most for now? What problem would you rather have for now? What regrets would you be fine, or would you prefer having for now again? You see the way you should approach it? I think it's so much easier than having many things you want to have and just having to pick one. It's much harder. But if you just eliminate them by being, okay, I'm fine with not having the best physique, but I'm not fine with not working hard enough on my business or my studies or whatever it is. I'm really happy I discovered this mindset, and I hope I'll be able to keep it in mind all my life and just keep on using it to make the right choices for each period, right? Instead of trying to pursue too many things and make zero progress on each of these things. Stop thinking and start doing. This one is very simple, but also very important. I see so many people, me included, who keep on talking about what they want to do or they plan to do, and they seem very ambitious. But the harsh reality is, thinking and talking do not make any progress or create anything. They just make you feel good. Because what is the thinking for? To decide what you want to do. Well, you won't know what you want to do if you haven't tried. Doing will do so much more for you than thinking. So do, try, work, fail. That is what will make you improve. Talking won't. There's a quote I really like from a Chinese philosopher. I read about it in Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. It says, "Those who know do not speak, and those who speak do not know. Be the one who does not speak and keeps on doing. By doing, you'll start knowing." You can never be more than your self-image. Nothing limits you more than the way you see yourself, your self-image. So if you think you can't do something, then it's certain you won't be able to. But if you think you can, then there is a chance that you will. So self-image is not a guarantee of success, but rather a prerequisite. It is necessary for you to be successful, and it is powerful. I was able to prove that during my last year of high school. So I spent the first half of the year working very hard to be the best, and I was. But in the second half, I barely worked. I just went to classes, that's all. And you know what happened? My results stayed the exact same. I was still first in my class. And that was for sure because of my self-image. I kept on seeing myself as the best student, and so I acted like it. So self-image is important, but the thing is, how do we change it? Well, that can be hard. I used to think it was more about visualizations and affirmations, but now I think getting proof is actually the best way to change your self-image. And that's actually why I think it worked for me in high school. I saw myself as the best student because I had proof. I had been the best for months and even years. I knew I was that guy, so I wasn't really faking it. The only thing was that I wasn't working as hard, but my behavior was the same in the way I approached the tests, the confidence I had, and the methods I used to, check if I didn't have any mistakes, and the way I was able to go quickly and trust in what I did and that my results were correct and so on. Just my whole behavior towards tests and lessons was the same as when I used to work very hard. So even if the work wasn't there, the behavior and the confidence, which plays a big role in this, was still there, which I think explains my excellent results. So I guess the way to do things is, if you want to achieve a certain thing, you won't be able to do it if your self-image doesn't follow, but it won't follow without proof, which means success can be given. You have to do the work that proves that you can achieve the thing before you can achieve it. So that's it. Those were 5 of the most important lessons that I have ever learned. And I truly feel that if I can remember those lessons throughout my life and apply them, I can do anything I want and just make so much progress in life. And without them, I'm so limited in beliefs, mindsets, and just my ability to work without stressing and doubting myself. Those beliefs, I think, are true keys to being better. And they could be for you too, right? If you just select one of the ideas that are in this video, choose one that you like and that you feel is very important, and try to apply it to your life. Think about it, write it down, and focus on just applying it. I would suggest to start with the taking responsibility one, because this one, without this one, you can't do anything. It's a pillar of everything. So start with that, and truly, those ideas have a huge impact. And it's actually why I'm working on this app that helps you remember stuff better, because I truly believe that by being able to remember those ideas well, keeping them in mind every single day, we can all be so much better and make so much more progress in life. And by the way, those are great examples of reminders I have added into my own Better Self app. And once I have published it, well, you could add them too. I would suggest you do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you back here in the next one.